Hi everyone, Aryan here, and today we are going to create this blog section here by using WordPress and Bricks Builder. Of course, if you want to know more about my setup, you can check the description of this video. So first of all, we need to go on our section page, our Bricks page, click section and then click on container. Into container, I would add very quickly a heading and a basic text. By going here, then I would copy this and, just call the title 0. In this case it's 03. I made other tutorials of this, and also make sure the style of this, go on typography and just make it center. And here you can change the font size. Let me say XXL. Okay. I'm using AutomaticCSS, so I have predefined spacing and typography and whatever. Okay, great. Let's say I want to also get this text here. And I would click on here and basically content and replace it. Okay, style, typography again, I would center it and I would keep it M or this sizes, okay? Container, with container selected, go on content and make sure align axis. So we did the first the first container. Now, click on section, plus button, and now I'm going to add another container. Here the container went outside, just drag and drop it here to make sure the two containers are on the same level. And then let's say I want some spacing between the two containers, click the section and then go on row gap, right click, and I would go with container gap or EM, pixels, whatever you want to use. And now we have our second container set up here. Let's say I want this one on 2 lines, a little bit like the design. Click on this text here, go on style and just go on layout, and width I would go with something like M, and now we have it on 2 lines if you need it. Click on the second container. With the second container selected, go on content, and then instead of display flex as default, I would go with grid. And here in grid template columns, I would go with 3 columns. So I would right click on it, 3 columns, okay? And now I'm going to add my block inside of it. If you want to add already the spacing, you can already add some spacing by clicking on the gap, right click, and I would say like M, for example. And as you can see, now we have our spacing here. And once done that, with the container selected, you can click on plus and then click on block and block here. As you can see, we have some little bug. The block is not getting into the container. So let me drag and drop it inside the container. And also let me save this and refresh, because I feel that there is a little problem here. So open up again the section, open up the container, and with the block opened up, I'm going to add some elements inside of it. And the first element is a div. So click on the plus button, search for div. And then let me see, now the div is inside of the block, and with div selected, you can call this as you want. I would call this wrapper, or wait, give me 1 second. We can call this thumb wrapper. Okay, and then with thumb wrapper selected, I will go again on the plus button and add another div inside of it, and I would call it outer post wrapper. And with auto post wrapper selected, I will add other 2 divs. So I will add here a div, and I would call this avatar wrapper. You can duplicate this and call it outer. Outer info wrapper. Okay, I'm naming those stuff just to make it clear. Okay, great. So we have those 2. Okay, inside of the avatar wrapper, I would go and click on plus button and search for an image. click on the image. So we have the image inside of it. Then the outer info wrapper, I will click on it and just click on plus and add, let's say, 2 basic text. Okay, 1 and 2. Of course, we need to rename stuff correctly. So inside of the avatar wrapper, I would say avatar image, and outer info extra would be outer name, outer description. Okay, so everything needs to be named. It's very important, correctly. Then of course I can already add the content here. So the avatar name should be this one, and the description should be this one. And okay, so now we have made our structure. Okay, let me close the avatar info, avatar wrapper here. Let me close everything. Like the thumb wrapper, looks like we have everything now. What I need to do into the block, first of all, the block need to be renamed into blog card tree. Why tree? Is it tree written with? No, wait. Okay, I'm not sure how it's written tree. Anyway, we have the thumb wrapper here, and now by clicking block card tree, I'm going to plus button and add another div. I know there is a lot of div, but this is how we do structures. Click on div, and here we will call it post content wrapper. And with the post content wrapper selected, I will go and add another div that will be called column left, and I can duplicate this and call this column right. And inside of the column left, I would click on plus. I would add an element called divider, sorry, not div again. Okay, once you add it, this will be called post line or post line decoration, like that. The column right, inside of the column right, I will go and add other elements like the heading. Then we have a basic text, and then we have a text link. I'm going just as a memory because I don't remember title, description, and read more. Okay, so I'm going to already put in the content so that I'm sure what is going on. Okay, get this one. Get this one also. Okay. Now we have, I think, all the elements. Yeah, we have all the elements, and what we are going to do is to BAM the card. So click on block card tree. You need to add classes manually, or if you're using AutomaticCSS like me, sorry, BAM everything, and make sure there is no same names here. Everything should be basically unique. Okay, and let me push out this one. Thumb wrapper. Okay, looks like everything is okay. Apply classes. Perfect. Now, let me close everything and start styling by the top. First of all, thumb wrapper. The thumb wrapper has inside of it the outer post wrapper. I will start with the outer post wrapper. So click on it. Click on the class. Display. Flex. Okay. Horizontal is correct. And now we need to add some column gap. I will go with XS. And then the image, click on the image, and basically on this one, the class, and then choose the avatar. With the avatar selected, figure HTML tag, aspect ratio for, of course, 1/1. Object fit is okay. Go on style, layout, width to EM, and then close it up. Border, border here, and we go and use radius. I would activate this, and I'm using AutomaticCSS, so I will go with radius circle. Okay, and this is done. I'm going to change the this one now. So click on the name of the author, click on the class, then go on typography, font size, right click. You can choose S or M. I would go with S, and I will also give some font weight, like this, or even more, depends on your design. And then I would say text align on the left. Same thing for the designer. You can right click and XS and then left, and I would keep it not bold in this case, in this way. Author info, and then we have also auto wrapper that are actually done. You can close those, and on author post wrapper, okay, it's basically keeping those together. I'm going to add some padding. So the class is activated, style, layout, padding, right click in my case, and I would go with something like, I think XS, it's fine. Let me click twice to apply everything. And as you can see now, we have this made, right? Also make sure the background of it's white. Now you don't see anything because there is no image, but now we are going to add also the image. So let's go on the thumb wrapper. Okay, this one. With the thumb wrapper selected, activate the class. Okay, go on content. Okay, here we don't need to do anything. Go on style, sorry, background, select an image. I would select this one, for example. Okay, and okay, so you're not seeing anything because probably we need to add some padding. So let's add some padding on the top. Okay, XL, or let's say EM, like 10 EM, perfect. And now I need to give him the full width of it. So basically on width you can just type 100%, so it takes the full width of the card. And once you've done that, now yeah, so basically the template is done. Let's go on here. So if you want to keep this like that, you can keep it, or let's say I want to give him a width. I can use you know, this, or you can just go here and say 8 EM, for example. No, it's too less, 10 EM, and now we have this one that takes this spacing here. Perfect. Now what we need to do now, we need to go on the post content wrapper and make sure to style those. So before styling those, I would go and style the title so that we see how much spacing it takes. So clicking on the title, click on this one and go on typography, change the font size as always. I go with M, and for this text here, I will click on it, click on the class, and the font size I would go with S, but with a calculation like calc, parentheses, and I would multiply 2 times. 2 times is too much, so we go 1.3. And the read more, you can click on it, click here, go on content, icon, choose an icon, choose here, or you can upload your SVG. I would go with solid, and then I would go with an arrow like this one, for example, very quickly. If you don't see the positioning of the arrow, click here once and click it again, and voila, here the position, right? And of course, if you want to add some gap between the two buttons, you can say 6 EM. Whoa, this is too much. 6 EM, 1 EM, or 0.5 EM. Okay. Now what we need to do is to actually have those two close each other. So I did not add a div here. So what we can do here is basically right click to the heading, wrap into a div, and this div you can call it text wrapper inner. Okay, something like that. You get the text basic here that would be called in something else, usually like post excerpt, okay, and you just drag it inside of it, and here I would go on post link, always rename things very correctly, and then of course you can click on text wrapper and just go on display, flex, vertical, row gap, XS, and here I would say calc divide 2, and then the column right, click on it again, here display, flex, vertical, and row gap I would go with XS, okay, and also make sure align cross axis on the start so that everything is set up correctly. Okay, so this is the styling of the right column. Now it's the turn of the left column, but before doing that, go on post content wrap and basically click on this class here, and we are going to change display to flex, and here is horizontal, right? This is correct. Click it up to make sure it's horizontal. And yeah, so now I need to check the column left, opening up, post line, you can click on here, and you need to add a width of it. So I would go with 2 EM maybe, and as you can see now it's showing it. You can go like 1.8, depends on how much you want to have the line long, and the height you can say 2 pixels if you want it bolder, of course. And yeah, so everything is set up. It's cool because you also have different direction if you want this. I never saw that, but cool. Okay, column left, it's done. Column right, it's done. Let's add some spacing between the two columns. Post content wrapper selected. You will have column gap, right click, and you can choose, you know, the spacing that you want. Content gap, for example. Okay, and now we have this gap here. Let's say I want the divider to be a little bit more at the bottom, so click on the line, so the post line, the divider, sorry, and you can just say style, layout, and margin or padding. In this case we can be XS, for example, okay, or whatever you want. It could be also 1 EM, or let's say 0.5, 0.3, okay, 0.4 would be good. Okay, and of course we need to also add some padding, so you can click on post content wrap. Okay, by selecting this you can go and add some padding basically to everything, and I think that like S could be good. Click twice here, and as you can see now everything is set up correctly. Okay, so we basically set it up the card. Now if you want to add some border and some shadowing, you click on block card 3 and then click here, and basically you get on border here, click here, just say 1 and click this one twice so that everything gets 1 solid. And now we can give him a little light color, like background color could be ultra light. As you can see, there is this little border. I don't like strong borders. This looks good. And yeah, so of course you can style the divider by changing the color and everything. I won't do that right now, but this is the card. Of course, if you want to also add some little box shadowing, click here, and you can basically say before doing anything here, I should go and choose a color. Let's say a black color with a transparency, and then click here, and then not on X, sorry, but here blur you can say 20, and you know, it's up to you then to select here those kind of stuff. Let's say I'm just playing around with these things here. Okay, and yeah, I'm not a big fan of strong shadows, so I would go and make it very, very light. And as you can see now, there is a very light shadow that looks pretty cool, pretty good. And okay, so now we have the card done. We can basically duplicate this 3 times, 1, 2, and 3. And as you can see, we have our card set it up correctly now. And yeah, that's all actually. If you want to replace the images, of course, usually those images should be, you know, dynamic. and you can choose another picture. One thing I wanted to say before is that the images should not be added to the class, otherwise everything change like what it's happened, right? So what you usually need to do is to remove the image, okay, and then close the class, and only now you add the image. So now you add the image. In this case I wanted to add this one here, okay, and then here you will add another image, and here I will add another image. Do I have a vertical image somewhere? This one. Okay, again, same thing here. You can basically change the avatar image if you want. Make sure it's not into the class, because as you can see, if I click on the avatar image, okay, it's inside of the class. So maybe this one is not, maybe the image widget is different. Let me try and change this. Yeah, the image widget is actually different. Even if you put it in the class, doesn't really matters. And yeah, okay. So we created this card. Now we need to check how it's the responsive behaving. Very, very important, right? So for example, let's say I am on the tablet version and this is taking too much space. We can click on the divider and basically say, I want this 0.5. Oops. What did I do? 0.5 EM. And as you can see now, it's a lot smaller. But let's say I also want to have less padding here, right? So you basically can click on the post content wrapper, this one, and you need to change the column gap to something else, like XS, for example. And now, as you can see, we have less spacing and everything is set up correctly. And this is how it looks on a tablet version, for example, right? And if you go back on desktop, everything is set up as before, so nothing is breaking. And let's say you want to go on the mobile landscape, okay? And in the mobile landscape, for example, I don't want to have 3 columns. I want it to have 2 columns. So block card 3 or container, okay? Let's say I'm on container now. I just want to have 2 columns. So here, by selecting the container, make sure you have grid template columns, you click on 2, and as you can see now, we have 2 columns. And if I go on mobile, I need to do the same thing. I'm going to change the grid template columns to 1, and voila, you have your elements set it up, okay? And let's say on mobile, I want this to be bigger again, okay? Say 2 EM or whatever. And as you can see now on mobile, as we have more space, we can play around with the width of this one. And again, if you go back, everything stayed the same. This is really powerful, I think. So yeah, here your really cool new post section, responsive and everything. And I hope that this tutorial was useful. Follow me also to know how to make those posts dynamic by fetching the image from your post, the title, the link, the author. I will make more tutorial on how to make those kind of stuff dynamic. Again, help me out by liking this video, subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.